YouTube automation channels. Now, I don't know about you guys, but my homepage has been filled with videos about this business idea. And at first, it seems like one of these typical course creator-like businesses.
Here in my garage, just bought this new Lamborghini here.
But the more I start to think about it, the more it actually sounds like a super solid idea. I mean, we've all seen people like Logan Paul or Jake Paul flex their wealth by living in these enormous mansions and buying supercars. So it's obvious that there's a lot of money in this industry. And you don't even need to be super controversial in order to make a lot of money. People like Graham Stephan, who is just a financial channel, often shows his earnings and he makes multiple 7 figures a year from just AdSense alone. But can anyone just come in and snatch some of that up? I don't know. Let's find out. Now it's obvious that I already own a channel. This one. But let's leave this channel out for now because I want to focus on creating a faceless YouTube channel. And faceless really is the key here, because if the channel is faceless, it allows me to automate most, if not all of the process. Because when my face is not attached to the channel, there's no strain on me as the creator. Nobody is expecting my face or my voice, and it allows me to outsource those parts to other people. Now there are a lot of channels on YouTube that execute on this idea perfectly, and a lot of these channels are actually some of the better known channels on the platform. Channels like Looper, Wendover Productions, or even Watch Mojo are all examples of channels that don't have a face attached to them, but are generating millions and millions of views. Now, one that I always like to watch is called the Infographic Show, and if you just go to the channel, you can see that they're generating hundreds of thousands of views even within the first few hours of uploading a video. Now, if you put these guys into Social Blade, you can see that they get around 80 million views every single month. And if we take a conservative estimate RPM of around $2, that means that these guys, they bring in around $160,000 every single month. And it's not even including any sponsorship deals, higher RPMs or other revenue sources. So for us to get started, we of course need a niche. And I already have a few pretty cool ideas in mind. Now the first one is World War II documentaries. Ever since a kid, I have been fascinated by World War II, and I don't know, it has always kind of stuck with me. But the more I started to think about it, I mean, however cool it sounds, these videos will be extremely difficult to make. I mean, there's going to be so much research involved, and even more fact checking probably. And then there's the search for B-roll footage, background footage, and probably animations that need to be done. It all sounds like something incredibly difficult and also very expensive to make. So I think for a first try at a YouTube automation channel, this isn't really going to be it. So that leads me to my next topic, and that's the come up stories of athletes. Now I think when we're going this route, I think we're also kind of tapping into the financial side of things, and that hopefully will result in slightly higher RPMs. And also there's always new athletes to cover, so I think this is a topic that we can go on and on about for pretty much as long as we want to. And speaking of money, I think I'm going to set a budget for this project at around $1,000.
You see this SNL budget? Budget approved!
Now I know that this is a YouTube automation channel, but at least in the beginning, I'm going to be doing most of the things myself. So I'm going to be script writing and editing, and I'm probably going to be finding someone to do the voiceover for me. Okay, so now that we have our niche, it is finally time to get the ball rolling. Now this whole process can be simplified into 7 steps. And the first one is something we've already done, which is picking your niche. But after you've picked your niche, it is time to find some video topics. These are some ideas that you can make a video about, and it's time to write a script for these videos. Once the script is done, it is time for a voiceover, and you can either do this yourself or you can hire someone else to do it for you. Another option of course could be to use an AI voice, but personally I'm not really the biggest fan of it. With a human voice you have this connection with your viewer that you just don't get with an AI voice. So personally I would go with either yourself or hire someone else to do this for you. After that it's time to find some stock footage, and then you need to edit the stock footage and the voiceover together. This right here is then your final product. This is your video. But things aren't done yet. You still need to create a title and a thumbnail, and these are probably the 2 most important parts. These are what's going to drive the traffic towards your video, so make sure to put a lot of effort in these and make them the best that you can possibly make. And after that, it is time for just one last thing, and it is to press publish. This is probably the most important part, and if you're anything like me and you like to obsess over all the tiny details, sometimes having to press publish is one of the hardest steps. But of course, laying out the entire process is a lot simpler than actually doing it, so let's give it a go. Alright, so now that we have our niche, it is time to go up to the very first topic. And since this channel is going to be about the come-up stories of athletes, who other to start with than the captain of the national Dutch football team, Virgil van Dijk. His road to the top hasn't always been that smooth, so I think he makes for a fantastic person to make the first video about. The next thing we need to do is to start writing a script, and I think this script is going to be mostly written by me, but I'm also going to be relying a little on ChatGPT. Okay, maybe not entirely rely on ChatGPT. Okay, so I've been working on a script for a while now, but something occurred to me and I honestly cannot be the only one wondering this. But how many words do I need to write for a 10 to 12 minute script? So I asked Google and they gave me a range of around 1000 to 2000 words. I then also asked ChatGPT and they gave me a range of 500 to 3000 words. So obviously that is a pretty big range. So I think the best way for me to go about it is to just record myself reading aloud a 1500 word article and see just how long it takes me. So I don't know if you can actually see it on my phone, I'll probably have a screen recording of it as well. But the total end time was 10 minutes and 18 seconds. Now naturally I'm a pretty fast talker, so I'm going to be adding an extra 250 words to the script. So the goal for the script is to have it around 1750 words. I think that will be fine for a 10 to 12 minute video. Okay, so I'm about 90 minutes into script writing, and one thing that I'm noticing is that a lot of the script that I'm writing, the facts are there, the story is there, it just doesn't flow that nicely yet. So I think that when I'm writing the script, I would probably start with writing the first draft as I'm doing right now, and then it takes about another hour or so for me to kind of touch it up. So that is going to take a long while, and I wanted to try something first. Now I know I said I wouldn't rely on ChatGPT, but I think this right here is going to be the perfect example of how to properly use AI. Now I've written the script and I've placed in all the facts and the story, so I'm going to paste all these paragraphs into ChatGPT and I'm going to ask it to kind of rewrite it in a more informative, more engaging and more YouTube friendly style. So let's just take this paragraph here for example and let's just paste it into ChatGPT and see what's going to come up. Now, personally, I have to say I am incredibly impressed by this. I mean, it just makes it so much better to read. And I think what I like the most about this is that it kind of uses AI in the correct way. The facts and the story is all written by me, and the AI is just spinning it to make it more interesting and more engaging. Now, why I like it so much is because AI has a tendency to kind of get their facts wrong. But now I know that all the facts are correct, I can let AI loose on the entire script and make it into something that reads so much better than I probably can do myself. And just like that, instead of having to spend at least another hour to kind of touch this script up, I've done it in about 15 minutes. So I'm now done with the script and I put the entire thing through ChatGPT, so it's now completely done. This is the final product and it ended up at 1970 words. But with the script now done, it is time for the next step, and that's finding someone to do the voiceover. Now personally, I don't really think that my voice will fit the style of this channel that I'm going for, so I'm just going through Fiverr and Upwork and hopefully we can find someone that will fit the bill. So I just found someone on Upwork that's going to be doing the voiceover for us. So while I'm waiting for that to come back, I think the best use of my time is to go on the internet and find some stock footage to place behind the actual voiceover. Okay, so I've been looking up a lot of stock footage, but can I just say the heart and soul that goes into football, it is honestly incredible to see. I've been looking up stock footage for Virgil van Dijk, who is a football player, and his high moments are typically also the high moments for his club. And it's honestly insane to see just how passionate all of these guys are, and finding stock footage for such happy moments, it is really fun to do. So as soon as I put the camera down, I of course get the voiceover back, so that's perfect timing, but that does mean that we can now finally move on to the next step, which is editing everything together. Now I'm going to be doing the editing myself for now, but if this channel grows and it actually starts to earn some money, I think editing is the first thing I'm going to outsource. Okay, so I've been working on this video for like 4 or 5 hours straight so far. My brain is fried. I mean, the editing part alone already fried my brain, so I'm gonna go out for a quick break. So, good morning everyone. What was supposed to be a short workout break turned into me doing a lot of other things that evening and me doing a lot of research in the whole YouTube automation process. But I did actually finish up editing the video this morning, so the entire video is now completely done. But yesterday evening I found some things out. I did some digging into the YouTube automation system and I think we may have run into a slight issue. I mean, it's not that bad, but one thing that I noticed is that a lot of people that are talking about YouTube automation recommend that you start a search-based channel. Now what we're doing is we're creating a browse-based channel. I'm banking on the fact that people like the thumbnail and they like the title and that they're going to click through the video. But with search-based, you're actually starting a channel with a whole bunch of short videos about a certain topic. So maybe it's iPhone troubleshooting or something like that. You create hundreds of 1-minute videos with the hopes of ranking in both YouTube and Google. However, I don't think it's that bad of an issue because the whole YouTube system is based on browse. The whole algorithm is based on browse. So I think we still have a shot of creating a very solid channel. Now the last thing we need is a good thumbnail, and I think the thumbnail is one of the most important parts to get right. Now luckily I already have a pretty good idea of what I want to go for. And the key here is to just make it as attention grabbing and clickbaity as possible, but of course make sure to actually deliver on the clickbait in the video itself. Ultimately, I think the thumbnail turned out pretty nice. It is full of color, it has a really large dollar amount in there, and of course we can't forget the big red arrow. I mean, what else does a thumbnail need? But now that everything is done, there's just one thing left to do, and that is to press publish. Now this video, it took a long while to make. I mean, even the video editing alone took me like 5 or 6 hours, and then there's of course the script writing, the voiceover, thumbnail making, title making, and just coming up with ideas. So is this business worth it? I don't know yet, but I'll guess we'll find out soon enough. So it has been a few days since I uploaded the video and there's some news to share. So right after uploading the video, I was met with this screen. And what you see here is a content ID strike. Now obviously any strike to your channel is something you don't want, but these content ID strikes, they seem to be very unfair. From what I researched, these content ID strikes will always strike you if Google found a match in their database. And it basically just ignores the fair use policy as well. But luckily the video itself wasn't online yet. It was still sitting in private, so I could go back and make some changes to the video. I then uploaded the new version, hoping that this one will not get hit by any of these strikes, and that was the case. So I uploaded it and it got some traction, it got a couple of views, and then the next morning I woke up to another content ID strike. So I had to take the video offline and then make another version. So the third version was then published to the channel, also in private. I just left it there for a day, and luckily the next morning there were still no content ID strikes, so I just published the video. However, the video itself really isn't getting any traction, and I'm not really sure why. When looking at the strikes from the other two videos, it showed that these videos were blocked worldwide. And I have a feeling that maybe this channel has gotten off to a bad start, which is why YouTube really isn't promoting it. Anyway, I am going to let this video run for a while and maybe even upload a few more videos. But after a month or so, I do think I need to assess the situation and make a decision on whether to keep going with this channel or to spend my time elsewhere. Maybe starting that search-based channel really was the better idea after all. Anyway, I really wanted to get this video up to one you're watching right now, so I'm going to cut it here. We've got some stats for about a week or so. It really isn't all that exciting to be honest, but it's the truth, it's what's happening right now. And of course, if anything happens to this channel, I will of course update you guys in the future, and especially if something interesting happens. So that is it for me. I really want to thank all of you for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!